Beautiful people, it is a pleasure to have you here once again, or for the first time. Recently, I've been talking about stuff that I like, and I like talking about stuff that I like, so we're talking about more stuff that I like. I talked about my favorite Destiny weapons, favorite underrated Destiny weapons, favorite Destiny builds, and now we're going to talk about my favorite raids in Destiny. Disclaimer, there will not be any raid on here twice. If we're talking about any raid that has been remastered inside of Destiny 2, I'll be talking about the version that I like of that raid the most. Now we got a top 5, and we got 3 honorable mentions. Well, actually, it's more like 2 honorable mentions and then some bullshit at the number 8 spot. So we'll talk about the number 8 spot right quick. Just want to shout out Vault of Glass for being the origin story of where this all began. Felt like its mechanics don't hold up for jack shit these days, so I can't really put it in my favorite raids inside of the game, but without it we wouldn't have anything that we have now. You always gotta respect where you came from, as they say. Also do want to shout out Valis Tupac, the final boss inside of Spire Stars. Really awesome boss fight. But raid layers, can't really give much love to raid layers. Like, I'm just saying, bro, I'm just saying. Eater World's trash, garbage. Trash. But now we'll move over to our 2 honorable mentions. I might get a little bit of flack for these 2, but it's my list. So here we go. Number 7, I have Ronald McDonald's Nightmares, okay? Root of Nightmares. It's definitely not here because of its day 1 aspect. I mainly have it here as it's a very just chill, laid back raid to run because there's nothing really too crazy about it. It's connect the dots and shoot Cabal. And while yes, the mechanics of it are nothing insane in the slightest whatsoever at all in any form whatsoever, it's definitely a fun raid to run. That and because you can fuck off while you're running it because it's so chill and easy. It gets points for just being chill, so it's here, honorable mention. And then on the polar opposite of the spectrum, I have Salvation's Edge at the number 6 spot. Now this is the most mechanically intense raid in the game, at least in my opinion. And while this raid is a very great climax point to the story that the Light and Darkness Saga was telling, running this raid and on repeat runs can definitely be a little bit annoying, especially if you are teaching somebody it for the first time, and God forbid any more than just 1 or 2 new people that you're teaching on your runs. On top of that, I feel like just for me, I'm just slightly burnt out on this raid at the moment. I'd say about 90% of my clears on Salvation's Edge are all doing just random, dumb, goofy challenges for videos, such as the Cowboy only run, Sidearm only, Icebreaker only, Trace Rifle only, Arc only, Kvastov / Axes only, Choir of One only Salvation's Edge. And currently, just a little bit burnt out on that raid. Definitely very fun. I love fighting the Witness. I think the actual damage phase during the Witness boss fight is one of the most fun damage phases in the game. Keeps you on your toes, but it's not random chaotic nonsense like Nezarec can be. And this raid had a complete polar opposite day 1 experience than Root of Nightmares. And they're both here in the honorable mentions. And with that being said, let us now talk about our top 5. My top 5, okay? These are raids that I just really do enjoy running at any given point, whether it's just a normal run, a challenge run, anything like that. And at a number 5 spot, my friends, Deep Stone Crippin', DSC, the Deep Stone Drip, the raid that takes place on Europa, and has recently been solo flawless if I'm not mistaken. That solo community is really built different. So why does Deep Stone Crypt get its spot here in my top 5? Well, for one, I really like the theme of it. I'm a big fan of Fallen raids, and I feel like there's some very unique, well, I guess outside of From Descent, some of these encounters are pretty unique. Like Crypt Security, it's a pretty cool little unique one. Also, it does have that beautiful oob, so you can do some solo and duo clears of this encounter, which is awesome. I love when raids have little oobs for like stuff that make the low mans possible. It's so awesome. Atrax is a very unique boss fight as it really prioritizes getting your burst damage out. That's why we love our Parasite. Yes, yo, shout out to Parasite, my boy. We love Parasite. I love that worm gun. And hello, 2-3 transition, Deep Stone Lullaby, bro. Just chilling, moving through space. Super calm, collected. That's awesome. The sense is meh, sleeper, whatever. It's hard to be, 10 out of 10. And then obviously Tanix being the final boss is a little bit of a meme because like we fought that guy however many times at this point, am I right? But the actual mechanics and getting to damage executing damage. Very fun, chill, a boss you could easily one phase with very little effort, and a real fun encounter. Puts a nice bow on this raid I thoroughly enjoy running. There's not a single time where I'm running this raid I'm just like, ugh, you know, like every time I'm running this raid I'm like, hell yeah, I'm chilling, we running, we going, we doing, and Deepstone Crypt, it gets a spot at number 5, man. I love me some Deepstone. Okay, number 4. I might get some hate for this one, but for number 4, I have Last Wish, okay? Now, I will admit, I feel like if you were to make most iconic raid list, Last Wish is probably going to be at bare minimum 2, but probably number 1. For me personally, it's at my number 4. I feel like mainly these days, it's definitely been, you know, all the encounters have been Power Corrupt. People use Cali as a testing ground. Shirochi is a W encounter, just saying, as there's multiple individual instances of damage that you got to do and get to a certain spot, otherwise you wipe. Although these days, you're never going to wipe on not doing enough damage, just because Guardians as a whole in the sandbox are just so much stronger than they were in 2018, by the way. Keep in mind, this is a raid that dropped before the contest modifier was ever a thing, and on that day one, dude, people were fighting Riven at like minus 40, 45, like the highest end of players. It just made for a very iconic day one experience, especially if you were able to even get that far. And still, this is the only raid that has an encounter after you beat the raid final boss. Still such a very unique experience. As with Queen's Walk, you got to run that heart the distance and take it home before you can play yourself some Deal or No Deal. On top of taking place inside the Dreaming City, a very aesthetically beautiful piece of content, and you can tell that Bungie was in their bag with this raid. On top of Forsaken easily being a top 3 DLC of all time, it comes with easily one of the most iconic raids ever. And we were all glad that they brought Riven back for the final goal you needed to complete, or part of the final goal that you need to complete in the Pantheon. Granted, it was only there for like what? I think it released the final week. Like a week or 2 weeks that was only available. It wasn't available for very long, and running Riven inside of the Pantheon was a very, very fun experience. Even if we did have some really overpowered modifiers, this is still an amazing raid, and easily one of the most iconic raids to ever grace our screens. Now, for my top 3, I'm definitely gonna get a little bit of flack for these top 3. Maybe not number 1, especially if, like, you know me. You'll know what my number 1 is going to be. But number 3, okay? Hear me out. Just hear me out. Just fucking hear me out here, okay? Vow of the Disciple. I really enjoy running this raid. Okay, obviously, the Bog entrance is easily the worst entrance for any of the raids on this list. I don't like that, okay? Trust me, I believe the entrance to this raid definitely drags on way too long. I'm not disputing that. But man, it's got 3 encounters in a row that are just all bangers in my opinion. Acquisition, the first one, it's okay. It's like a little, you know, like it like preps you up a little bit. You know, who remembers the first time they were doing this raid and y'all saw all of those symbols on the wall? Like when right before you get to acquisition, just a big symbol room. Everyone was like, yo, is this the encounter? And learning all of the symbols, bro, something about how each person or each group has their own vow callouts, I feel like is a unique experience that this raid has. I mean, Last Wish does to an extent as well, but like they're really freaking out there for this raid, especially, you know, like there's some hella goofy off the wall ones there out there as well. And while you run your grocery list of symbols in acquisition, Caretaker is a lot more fun, okay? I feel like the Caretaker boss fight was so well executed and so well received that they just kind of copied and pasted it, or like its formula with the Explicator encounter inside of Root of Nightmares. Which, I mean, hey, I don't hate that. I like it. I like the Explicator encounter, but Caretaker is better in my opinion. There's just something about the way Caretaker flows, how you got 3 floors, 3 plates on each floor to do your damage phases on. And this raid rewards you for being efficient and knowing how the encounter works, as you can easily get consistent 2 floors in this encounter once you know what you're doing, and it makes for a very, very rewarding experience. Speeding up the encounter, the better you get at it, the more you know about it. And I think Exhibition is just like you're just constantly moving. Hustle. You got that timer. You got 3 relics roaming about. You know, Peanut Guy's got to worry about the knights. Vogue relic shield dude, he's cleansing you. The taking splooge ball, you're going back and forth getting rid of the immunity barrier thingies. You know things that make enemies immune. Nobody likes that. You got to get rid of those. You're going back and forth, And then you got to read symbols as you're going through each room. And we all know that third room, that third room can be a little bit intense. Let me tell you, my friend. But it's definitely a very, very fun encounter. I just like how this one really emphasizes speed and elimination of the ads very well. And then I just like the Rogue boss fight. Yeah, the process of getting to damage isn't the most fun. It's kind of sleeper material, I'll be honest. But the actual part of the encounter when you get to Rogue's little platform and you climb the stairs, you're getting the symbols, you're shooting his shoulders, and then the aspect of doing damage, bro, I thoroughly enjoy those boss damage phases. They're so much fun. Fighting Rogue is so much fun. And in the Pantheon, it was even more fun because they had Shadow Rogue. That dude was just literally there, just walking around, just being a presence of annoyance to your entire fire team when you're up there fighting him. Truly a really awesome boss fight, awesome final encounter to a raid, and Rogue's crackhead ass always cracks me up whenever we fight him anyways. Oh, that, and to be fair, the loot in this raid was pretty darn awesome as well. Looking at you for Baron, shout out to you. Okay, we're down to the top 2, fellas. Final 2. And as we know, when it comes to a final 2, it's generally a game of inches. So my number 2 spot, I have a Destiny 1 classic. Crota's out. No, I'm sorry, Crota's in. You can't get a spot on this list. But I do got a spot on this list for King's Fall, the Destiny 2 version. I have some gripes with Destiny 1's version of King's Fall. I called it plate warfare, as that's what you were mostly doing in that version of it, where you're standing on plates. In the D2 version, I feel like all of the issues or nuances I didn't like about D1's version of King's Fall. Definitely one of my favorite trios to run, mainly because Totems is the gatekeeper of that trio, unironically. Recently, that encounter has been doing as well. Man, it's insane. And on repeat runs, Totems is still boring, but I mean, it was boring in D1 too. There's only so much they could do to that encounter to make it less boring. But it is quicker than it definitely was in D1, thank God. And War Priest is awesome. Tanky freaking boss. So, you get a good damage rotation off, and his health is not quite there. You do a good 90% in the first phase. You're like, yo, we cooked, fellas. We cooked. If you have a fire team that can one phase War Priest, you don't need to be watching this video because you're way better at the game than me. Golgoroth, easily a real fun encounter. One of my favorites just because there's a lot of ads, so you can do a lot of shenanigans. You used to do some shield bashing on this encounter. My favorite shield bash encounter when that was a thing. It's still one of my more favorite encounters just in general because it's just it flows really nice. It's really fun. And there's a lot of ways you can go about doing it. You can go through all 6. You could just do the 1 orb gang. We do 1 orb for some certain challenge runs back in the day. Fun times, fun times. Sisters, it's fast, it's quick. You can bake them both each on your first try, first damage phase on both of them. So it's very, very quick. And then Oryx, unlike in D1, you damage him with your weapons. And he is very much so one phaseable. Unironically, bro, Whisper of the Worm is an absolute menace here. Because Oryx doesn't move at all, this is the best boss fight to use Whisper of the Worm on. And if you need a div for Oryx, that's your own problem, my friend. Overall, awesome raid. Very fun to run. Not too difficult to learn either. And overall, Destiny 2's version of King's Fall takes her number 2 spot. Number 1. Here we freaking go, boys. This one is for all the homies out there. We know what this raid is. We know what the number 1 spot belongs to. Belongs to the only damn Destiny 1 raid these guys have not brought into Destiny 2. Wrath of the Machine, I need you. Please come back. Oh, it's been so long since I played me a good Wrath of the Machine, bro. It's been like over 7 years. Why is there no Destiny 1 PC port yet, bro? Please, I'm dying over here to run some Wrath of the Machine again, dude. Please. I love this raid so much. The opening, you're fighting a boss. You're hurling Siva balls. You're running around getting ores and shit, dunking them, getting Siva balls, taking his shield down, and sending this little Siva-infused rat back to his cellar. There was a whole lot of free loot, extra chests, and you would get these Siva fragments that you could eventually turn into a key that you could use at any of the encounters you wanted for another shot at some of those juicy weapons. Ex Machina, hello? Chaos Dogma. These were heaters. And the way the perks worked on these weapons back in D1, bro, like they basically doubled down on the perk that they had in their left column, almost making them feel like mini exotics. Awesome, bro. You had things like triple tap, and I think it was like triple double on the Chaos Dogma, bro. Like, it was like a legendary version of Black Spindle, sort of. Bro, Vostok, the first boss, that's so freaking fun. Everybody get to the door. 3, 2, 1, hurl your Siva balls. Hey, shoot the monitor, my friend. Oh, also, this raid has been solo flawless. In D1, bro, I'm telling you. This raid is a banger. A banger. Final round, found verdict, melting point, boomch, reload, boomch, reload. Vostok, we'll see you later. Let me tell you about the second encounter. Siege Engine, the Zamboni. Bro, you start this encounter off hugging this wall, you're just getting flooded by ads. And keep in mind, D1's a lot more difficult than D2. You ain't got no damn class abilities. You got such little lack of healing compared to what you have in D2. Like, it's not even close. So, you know, you're getting swarmed by ads, and you gotta like prop off these turrets that then opens the siege machine's front end. You shoot it, and then some debris gets blown off of it, and you're able to jump on it. It then smashes through a wall that you were just on, and then it breaks down. There's some parts over in the distance that you gotta go drag and bring them on. But the thing is, your guardian doesn't hit the gym, so after 10 seconds of holding up, you just drop them. Boop. And there's these freaking craters in there that you drop and you plummet to your death. You drop a part down there. Oops, see you later. Wipe. There's no res tokens in D1. You wait 30 seconds, and if it's hard mode, you just do not come back at all during the encounter unless you're a self-resing warlock. But eventually, you fight your way through all the ads, and if it's hard mode, there's a spider tank you have to deal with. You gotta go kill the captain who spawned on the siege engine, get rid of his dumbass, and I'll drop a door for you, a little ramp that you can walk up with these heavy parts and put them in the right spots. Put them in the right spots, you move forward, get your loot. At the very end, you can watch the siege engine fall off the map. Really satisfying to watch, fall in the water. Then you go fight Axis Phase 1. I ain't gonna lie, Axis Phase 1 is kind of boring with the first two part, but you only have to get like 2, then 3, and then in between the phases, there's these shanks that are, it drags on. The final part though, of phase 1 is pretty chaotic because there's like, I think you have to hit 8 or 9 like little Siva balls that you got to throw at the corresponding spots. And if you pick up a cannon and drop it, you have a cannon lockout. You know, you can't really do that. So you got to have people dedicated to chunking, dedicated to blowing up the elemental servitors with the corresponding cannon. It's real fun. The final part of that encounter is pretty fun. All right. And then Axis himself, dude, I love fighting this boss, bro. He teleports basically like 3 times. He shows you where he's gonna teleport before he does with the little Siva aura. It shows where he's gonna go. He's then slunched over, waiting for one of your empowered teammates to go dunk on his ass. However, the thing is that, well, let's say that your teammate, he's going to dunk, but the person on the right side is also empowered. What's he gonna do with it? Let it go to waste? Nah, he's gonna go dunk his empowerment and give everybody in the fire team a full super. Dude, I'm telling you, you can min-max this encounter and chunk this dude's health bar. You could use the cannons, thermite grenades, cluster bombs went ham on this boss too. Like, it was just so much fun. Then on his third teleport, that's where he would stay the longest. That's where you get the bulk of your damage. This is one of the like most fun experiences in Destiny I've ever had. I missed this raid. The OG Outbreak Prime puzzle was pretty freaking cool back then too, and I really do miss it, man. I really do. I would love to run a contest version of Wrath of the Machine in Destiny 2. I would love to. I can keep my fingers crossed some more, but I mean, they have been so against. Oh no, Wrath of the Machine, no. They're, you know, the Siva models, man, they're tough to put into D2, and like, we don't even mention it, but you know, here's a Siva Necrochasm ornament. Please, man, please. All I want for Christmas from these guys over at Bungie is Wrath of the Machine. Whether I have to wait next year, I don't care, bro. Please, man. Better late than never. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on the list, and comment down below your favorite raids of all time as well. And I also just want to let y'all know we are doing some good work on our big project. I'm also thinking about doing a top 10, but it's not Destiny related. I want to talk about my top 10 One Piece arcs. Let me know if that's something that would pique your interest, because I love doing this format style of video, and if that's something y'all would like to see, I'm gonna try to throw a few stuff at the wall, see what sticks. Y'all have a great day. Consider subscribing.